time for the Luke Howard Show. Thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Even round of applause as well. Wow. So here we are then, started a bit late today due to my iPad running out of charge. It was quite funny actually, I enjoyed that little technical issue, it was quite funny. It won't happen again, One off. Lovely to see you today. It's Wednesday the 15th of April, another show and another day. We've got lots to get through, again, we've always got lots to get through on the, We've always got a lot to get through on this show. I don't know why. We just always have. But it's 10:05 and it's the Luke Howard Show. But remember, if it's 10 a.m, it is the Luke Howard Show. But it was 10:05 today. It's quite nice to start a bit late. Quite enjoy that. But yes, so that was why we were a bit late today. And it won't happen again. Right, okay. So how are you? Lovely to see you again. Another great show and great music as well. We've got some more great music to come today as well. I mean, I choose all the music, I choose all the news, I choose everything on this show. Well, I have to at the moment because we've got no staff. Really, we've only got a couple of us. There's only a couple of us. Well, actually, to be honest, it's only just me, really, here. Only just me, on my own, doing this on my own. I love it. I love doing it on my own, actually, to be honest with you. No one around me. No one to boss me around. I absolutely love it. Everyone's own self-isolating. So, yes, I'm on my own. My very, 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 very own. So, yes, I'm on my own. Yay. So, lots to get through. Okay, so, where shall we start today? Oh, before we get to it, National Days. Right, what I'm going to do is, when we play the music, I'm going to go into my computer and I'm going to look up what the national days are, and I will let you know after the music. Right, to get in touch with the show today, this is what you can do. 07593 847 105. You start with the word talk and your name and where you're from, or you can call that number, or you can find us on social media at the Luke Howard fan page. Or you can email us, it's GaryJHoward68@hotmail.com, and that is how you can get in touch with us today. I'll just go through that before we start the show today, so I haven't got to say it right the way through the show, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we're starting off with a story in the papers that says smiles better, Rubb's on form after day to worry. Now, Dominic Rubb looked in high spirits as he entered Downing Street, didn't he, the other day? So the Foreign Secretary had a grin and appeared confident and relaxed. Now, a world away from his demise just 24 hours before, he went into the hospital, I believe, as Boris Johnson. Now, it came after, this was last week, by the way, this is on Thursday the 9th, so, cause what I do is, I get papers weekly, so I get a Daily Express, and I get and the Mercury, okay, and what I do is, I read through them, and then I put it on my script, which one I'm going to put on the show, and that's what I do, basically, so then I talk about it in my own way, on the show. But I collect them once a week, and we get my local paper as well, the Hertfordshire Mercury, and I just pick out which ones I want to talk about, and then that's basically what happens, to be honest. And you now know what happens behind the scenes here at the one and the only show, the Luke Howard Show. So there you go. So this happened, and it actually came after better news about the PM Boris Johnson's stay in intensive care. Now I've just hearing that he's supposed to be coming out of hospital very, very soon. Has he come out? Has he? He has come out. Right, okay. Right, I think we're a bit behind with the news at the moment. We're a bit behind, but we'll get into it all. We'll get right there. But Mr. Rubb was actually spotted last Tuesday, would you believe? Last Tuesday he was spotted, and he was looking very worried and anxious. And he approached number 10, in other words, no 10, for his... I love that word, no 10, it's really good. For his first day of depruising duties, would you believe? So, he's actually standing in for Mr. Johnson, who was currently receiving treatment for coronavirus, and his duties include chairing the daily virus, the War Cabinet meeting, which happens, I think, daily. Does it happen every day? I'm sure it happens every day. I think it's every day about this time, I think. Is it about this time? No, it's not. Got it wrong. There you go. Right, let's return to local news now, because this is quite a nice story, actually, because World War members have been cutting their cake to mark their 100th anniversary. This is amazing. So this is in Wormley, which is near Broxbourne. A Women's Institute was pleased to have been able to actually celebrate their 100th anniversary of their founding before the coronavirus. This, just to let you know, this was before the outbreak. This happened before the outbreak, by the way. Now, members of the Wormley World 1 in other words World War, and their guests were able to meet at the first Wormley Scout HQ in this is Cozzens Lane in the west of Broxbourne. So the committee worked hard on the hall with banners on the walls and daffodils and spring flowers filling the room, which sounds absolutely beautiful because we've got a picture here on our script. It looks amazing, incredible. Blimey, those daffodils look amazing. So they were actually delighted to welcome guests, including 2 Hearts Federation executive members, and this is the County Vice Chairman Pat Kingswood and former County Chairman, this is Jean Curl. They both spoke aside and they were warmly congratulated as well. Now, members on the Aspirations Millstone, they reached there as well. Now, other guests presented were from neighbouring World Eyes, Northbury and Goffs Oak, would you believe? And now President Jean Hart, the longest serving, would you believe, member who joined in 1965, this was, she welcomed everyone and proposed a toast to the club's continued success. Now Jean, she assisted by Diane Weston, and she joined the WI in 1968, and she was produced a slideshow of photos from the 2 scrapbooks covering the long history, a look back through Wormley WI's 100 years. Now, the former presidents also participated, and in the minutes of the first meeting held on the Bushby Hall. This is Wharf Road in Wormley. I know Wharf Road very well because my mum's best friend Jane, she used to have a dog kennel down there, so we know it very well down there. She used to have her own dog business, so I know Wharf Road quite well. Now, Sheila Robson, she read a poem concerning the events of the first year during the break, and of course the tea break. A birthday cake made by member Carol Grimms was cut and enjoyed. So Jean Hart, she said, "Oh, that sounds delicious. I love a piece of cake and a cup of tea. I love it." Now, as a memorability of the occasion for all who attended, a handcrafted bookmark was given to each, and it brought a happy afternoon to a close, leaving a lovely memory in the prevailing lockdown for all who attended. Now, a celebratory luncheon was due to be held on May the 1st, and unfortunately it's been postponed to September the 4th due to coronavirus. Like everything else, it's all been done to coronavirus. Okay, so let's turn to Buntingford local news now in our town. So this is the news in our town. So discharge of condition, 6 joinery details including glazing bear profile where appropriate as attached to planning application granted on the 16th of November 2018 at Centre Barn Sandon, Berry Farm Sandon, and it was discharged on condition 14 Pacific lighting details as attached to planning application. Now it was discharged on condition as well. And the ground floor extension is to create ground floor wash centre or water closet and new entrance porch, Duck Street Cottage, the Street Furnace Pelham and simple story new extension 13 in Church Street. Now the ground floor, there's a lot of stuff that you could read up about it. And there's some on Barkway Road as well. I didn't know that all this was part of Buntingford as well. Blimey, there's so much on there. There's a lot there, a lot. There really, really is actually. There is a lot. We'll leave that one there, and we'll maybe talk about that one nearer the time. So let's move to telly now. Because last night the programme quiz was getting better and better and better. I haven't seen it yet. Nobody tell me what's happened. Nobody tell me what's happening in that show, because I don't want to know yet, because I haven't seen it yet. But I will have a look, and I will let everybody know tomorrow what it was like. The last one's on tonight, but EastEnders, I feel very sorry for Tiffany and Keegan at the moment, because it's just been released on bail for what happened on Monday on the show, and last night he got back and Tiffany was in absolutely tears, and he asked her, what's happened, and she said, we've been kicked out of our house, and then it ended there. So I thought that was quite a very good episode last night, to be honest with you. EastEnders was very good, but the only thing about it is that, well, it's only on 2 nights a week now, isn't it? So we can only watch it Monday, Tuesday night. So, yeah. So speaking of television shows, Steph McGovern, does anybody know Steph McGovern out there? She used to present The Business on breakfast, but she now hosts her own show on Channel 4, weekdays from 12. Now, she's mad to think though, isn't it, she said. Someone at Channel 4 said out loud, what this network needs is Steph McGovern, noisily losing the plot in her own living room. Now, then instead of rapping a spade around the, offending executive's head and saying, "Fry that for gardening leave." Everyone agreed. Now, it's a great idea, but the world simply cannot. Well, it cannot wait, really, can it? It can't wait at all. They said, so get it on now, they said. So at 12 p.m, this Death show, hosted by the former BBC Breakfast presenter. She's from Yorkshire, actually. That's where she's from. And she's nothing for company, apparently. When I first saw this show, to be honest with you, I actually thought it was quite good, but see, I like these other different types of shows, don't I? I mean, I don't really like that sort of show, but I didn't really like it. But it was all right. It was fine. I've got to say it was all right, but it was fine. But it's a power hour. Actually, it's 1 hour and 5 minutes to show. It's an hour and 5 minutes, so 65 minutes to show. And, excuse me, and, sorry, I've just had a little bit of a... Because this morning I had bran flakes for breakfast, and when you have bran flakes, it gets to you a little bit, and that's why I get a bit. So I apologise if I'm going because I've had bran flakes. I do apologise, but anyway, come back to the story. So they delivered without ideas and the content or everything. This is other than Tom Allen, Anton Dubek. The Redknaps have been on there as well. I saw that episode. That was very good. And you've seen clogging up every other show recently. Now, the Steph Show has one thing and one thing only in the favour, though, and that's honesty, which is true because it has got honesty. And it's amazing, really, in that way, because it has got honesty. And she promised viewers that it might be a bit rough and around the edges, and has been so awfully faithful to her word. It started 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and when Steph she went hurling around her house to show off the remote cameras, and then she spent the next 10 minutes gasping for on air, actually, just going on air, which is really quite nice, actually, to be honest. A very nice way. So it was supposed to be a 50-minute show, which actually turned out to be a 65-minute show via Skype links and multifunction mobile phones. And it went off and an attempt to kick off at a feature, and it was shut down as quickly as it started. Actually, what did you ask Michael Hurcham in your dream? Those sort of questions she's been asking as well. And she said things he did remotely with Kylie Minogue. That okay, let's move on. So that sort of thing. By the way, that sort of thing. She said, had you thought day 2 was going to be improved things, should you probably banished those thoughts when Steph began with her own attempt, basically. And she said, if you turned on the show the other day, she said, you'll know to be on yet, or any other day for that matter, although Tuesday's episode was actually a technical cracker, and it clamped when someone rang Steph's doorbell in mid-episode. That's quite funny, actually. we never did find out, though, who it was. They never actually found who it was. And she said, I was willing to be good money if it wasn't BAFTA. So, so it just goes on and on, that story. It goes on and on. So, yeah. Okay, another story now. One more story, because we're talking about Dame Vera Lynn. We meet again in Duet for NHS Heroes. Now, Dame Vera Lynn and Katherine Jenkins was actually releasing their duet of wartime classic We'll Meet Again to raise funds for the NHS. Now, the 1939 song was originally performed by Dame Vera Lynn to boost morale during the Second World War. We'll meet again, don't know where. I love that song. It's an amazing song. But it is seen a surge in the online streaming since the Queen made a reference to it in her televised address last Sunday. Now, Dame Vera, she's 103 people, 103 years old, and to go out there and do that is just amazing and incredible. And the Welsh mezzo-soprano, 39, it's amazing, really. I mean, Katherine Jenkins, she's 39, and she's to release the anthem on this. When was this? She was set to do it last Saturday, actually, to support healthcare workers, which is an amazing thing to do. Absolutely amazing. To care for the coronavirus patients. Now, the other day, Dame Vera said the words "we'll meet again" speak to the hope that we should all have during those troubling times, which is true. Now, Katherine said, as Dame Vera herself has said, with the lyrics of "We'll Meet Again" take us back to the time of the Second World War, and the sentiment feels approval and meaningful today and relevant to the current crisis. It's a song of hope, and Dame Vera Lynn and I sing this in honour of them all, and in aid of our superhero NHS workers. Can I just say, I want to say thank